That's a read. We are a go.
Nice peaks.
Stiff peaks. I've been experiencing some horrendous brain delay today. I've really struggled with brain delay, in fact.
Why?
I'm just stupid.
Oh.
I'm just a bit dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not selling any cars.
And it's come to 23 years, 24 years for you to realise that you're dumb?
Well, I'm 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I think so.
I don't know. Are you sentient for the first 6 months of your life? No.
I am.
You're not.
Oh, well.
You
okay,
are.
I was.
Are you still under 6 months old?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Always have been. Always have been.
You're coming up to
Constant.
90 days.
Yeah. Let's go. Can't wait to hit puberty. I wonder what my voice will be like then.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
The fucking ground will shake.
Yeah, you will.
Hello, miss, looking really different.
You'll turn into a demon. You will actually become a demon. I know you haven't.
Actually, no, go on. Sorry.
I know you haven't seen Stranger Things, but there's a guy called Vecna in it.
Yeah, we know Vecna.
And the way he speaks will be like you. He's like, Max, I tried. That'll be like you normally.
See, I like to think of demons with like really high pitched voices, because if you're in hell, right, I think the last thing you want, or the last thing God wants in hell when you're being eternally tortured, is a really smooth, sexy sounding voice. So I think all the demons have like whistle tone high voices that just pierce your ears and make everything uncomfortable. The moment they start talking, you want them to stop.
Does it sound like they're all on roids?
On roids?
They're all on steroids, got really high-pitched voices?
Sorry, did Arnold Schwarzenegger have a really high-pitched voice when he was on roids?
I don't know. To be fair, I've just heard it's a thing. Your balls shrink and your voice gets higher. Isn't that right?
No.
Is that a thing?
No.
Someone tell me. Someone stop me.
I don't think it is, because Arnold Schwarzenegger would have like the highest voice ever with the amount that he was injecting in himself. I thought you were going to turn around and say, you know, the normal response of helium, but I guess steroids is your is your helium.
We did say overanalyze, so that's all I'm doing. Is I'm bringing you the alternative methods of getting a high voice. If you want a high voice, don't worry about taking a bit of helium and it lasting 2 minutes. Go and do roids for 6 years. Then you'll be fantastic. You'll have a really high voice. Confirmed.
I really don't think that's how that works, but if you want to be a test dummy, Joel, I'm more than down to inject some steroids into your leg for the next year.
Let's go.
Watch the vocal tone just rise.
Yeah, within a year's time. Hi guys, welcome to Speech Waffle. So today we'll be talking about
The side effect also turns you part chipmunk. That's the thing.
Yeah. Do you know, I was quite young when I realised I had that ability.
What, to talk in a chipmunk voice?
Yeah.
So, I mean, same, but I won't do it because it hinders my respect that people have of me.
Oh no, go on, you've got to do it.
No. Sorry, mate.
No one respects you anyway, mate. You might as well do it.
They all do. That's the thing.
Do they?
Being a sentient being comes with a certain level of respect that we've got to keep. And
you're not sentient. You're not even 6 months
embarrassed
old yet.
yourself. Listen, you've already embarrassed yourself with the chipmunk voice. I can't do that as well.
There's got to be a balance. I'll be the Sith, okay?
You're the
You
embarrassment.
be the Republic.
No, but the funny story. So I could do Stitch as an impression, right? Or at least I used to be able to. And why did that sound like such a sarcastic little?
I didn't mean it to.
Really?
That's just the way.
Yeah,
really?
No one gives a fuck. Wow.
Do you know what I'm going to blame? I'm going to blame because I started talking and then I heard your voice. It was like the lag coming through, so I'm going to blame the lag.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Sure. And we went to America, and there was a guy dressed up as Stitch in the one of the amusement parks, and I was really young at this point, so I just looked at him while we were taking a picture, and I did my impression, and he just like basically hugged me and suffocated me because he was like really surprised. And it was like it's a memory that's been logged in my brain for years now.
So it's a happy memory.
Yeah. Besides almost being suffocated by Stitch, but it was.
I don't
really
know. Some
nice.
people are into that. They kind of enjoy that sort of stuff.
I don't think I would have when I was 8. Maybe now. If he did it to me now, I might really enjoy it and get off on it. But yeah, maybe when I was 8, not so much.
All
Anyway.
right, we've had it. This is enough niceties. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
The more. What did you say?
Nothing.
What the fuck did you say to me?
Nothing, you little bitch. Fucking
say it
carry
again.
on
I'll
with what
break
you
your
were saying.
toes.
Whoa.
Yeah?
Not my toes. That's my money maker. On Only Feet. By the way. Because you're a freak, Joel. Right? Are you scared of anything?
Ooh.
Are you? Are you scared of anything? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say yes,
Yeah.
but what it is, truth be told, it's all contextual, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, if at the end of the day, I'm scared of stuff that's scary, but I'm not scared of things like if I'm walking through a forest and it's dark, I'm not necessarily scared because I'm like, it's dark. It doesn't instantly mean there is a demon stood right behind me. But also doesn't mean there isn't.
But you are also that psycho that listens to horror podcasts when he goes to sleep.
So I haven't done this in a little while, to be fair. I feel like we need to...
Yeah, but you've outed yourself, and it's there. It's on the internet now. That's you. So this is why I'm asking, because like if you're not scared of anything, or if you are scared of something despite listening to podcasts, because as you said, it's contextual. More people are scared of different things. Like I know a lot of people that are scared of spiders. I'm not scared of spiders. I actually love spiders. I keep them in my room to fend off the flies because I hate flies. Right? But what people find scary and what people don't find scary are different. Now, there's two, in my mind, and you can argue this point, there's two things that stand out as like what a lot of people are scared of. Like a big group. One of them, and my sister is scared of these, my mom is scared of these, is clowns.
Yeah.
Right? And then the other side is what I guess a lot of people are also scared of, are like demons, ghosts, and stuff like that, like bad spirits and demons. Right? Which is like, I guess, the most general one.
I feel like it's their untapped abilities which scare people. It's this idea that it can be anything you want it to be, almost. It doesn't have set boundaries because it works on an ethereal plane, or it works on some kind of other dimension or other force.
It's also like an unknown, because it's like, with clowns, I don't know where the fear of clowns comes from, because it's like it must be like a fucking childhood thing. They go to a circus one day and then a clown pops up and that's it, game over. Right?
Yeah.
But demons is like that. It's that one like folk tale that has kind of stood the test of time as they exist, quote unquote, they exist, and they're scary. When in actual fact they don't.
Well, I have a theory about clowns, about why they're so creepy, or why we call them scary, and it has to do with the whole idea of why is something creepy, and I read somewhere that tribes of people, when we were just predominantly tribes, they used to put masks on. And the reason why they would is not to scare people. It was to hide their intention. So basically, it kind of explained that something that's creepy is something that sits in the valley between safe and threat. Right? If two peaks, one's a threat, one's a definite threat, someone's behind you, they've got a knife. That's no longer a creepy situation. You're just running.
A threat.
It's a threat.
Yeah.
And then over here, there's safety, where someone's just there and they're like, yeah, right, mate, there's a guy, you okay, brother? Yeah, nice one. So,
Standard Birmingham, yeah, no issues.
Good mate, yeah, you got the time.
I defo don't have a knife, mate, yeah, now come here.
Got our 50p for the bus.
Yeah, and if you don't, dead. Alright, yeah.
And we still have to do like a Birmingham folk song, but that's for another podcast.
That's another time. That's
another
Patreon.
time.
Subscribe to Patreon for feet pics, Birmingham folk songs, and nudes.
It sounded like you said folk thongs then.
Folk thongs. That's also included in the picture album. Folk
Fantastic.
thongs.
But yeah,
Sorry.
So partway between this safety and threat. So when you actually have someone in a mask, you don't know their intentions, whether they mean to hurt you, whether they mean to help you, and that is what we call creepy, something that cannot be defined in your brain on an evolutionary set of ideas, effectively. So this idea that we find them creepy and thus scary is because we don't know whether they're there to hurt us, so our brains and imaginations go to that place where they are there to hurt us, and then you have it, as in the movie. And
yes, that obviously doesn't help. That's like Jaws. It's the whole Jaws stigma of like everyone's become afraid of sharks because of Jaws, right? It developed like a whole generation of trauma for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, sharks do also try and eat humans, but it's a lot less.
No, they don't.
It's a lot less frequent, but they still do bite us.
They
get a bit bitey.
don't. They don't. You are the chances of you get. I had this discussion with someone else. The chances of you getting bitten by a shark are so null and void that it will barely ever happen in your entire life.
I think I did read somewhere again that more people in the US are injured by vending machines than they are by sharks.
Exactly. You know, that's a testament to the US's intelligence. But
you can't say that.
Sorry. I mean, they're just incredibly smart. I mean, it takes a really smart person to get injured by a vending machine.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Saved. But I do agree. Plus, it's also the unknown, isn't it? As I said, the fact that someone's wearing a mask and you don't know what their intentions are gives you that kind of like fear of the unknown, right? But then you've got clowns nowadays that are they just wear makeup. And yet we're still scared of them, or some of us are anyway, right?
Yeah.
But that, I guess that comes from It, the movie, because that doesn't help. It's a clown turn. But maybe people are like synonymously linking them. So like when they think of clowns, they think of a demon now.
Well, what's the point of a clown? I mean, historically, because I have no idea, to be fair. I don't know why why did people dress up like clowns?
To traumatize little kids.
To traumatize children. That's the correct answer. Ding, ding, ding. 10 points
Thank
to
you.
Gryffindor.
Thank you. I'm actually Slytherin, but try again.
10 points to Slytherin door.
Slytherin door. Nice. Slytherin your door.
Because I don't know. I mean, I personally, I don't exactly find clowns soothing. Like, you know, if I was paying somewhere to go for like a nice massage, right, and then a clown came out, I'd be like, yo, hey, right, whatever you're going to put in my bag, I don't want to be stabbed while you massage me. But having said that, if I went to get a massage and a demon came out, I'd also be pretty concerned.
Really? Is that where you draw the line in massage? Clowns and demons?
Clowns and demons. Mate, listen, anything else, if it's like a talking animal, go ahead.
Fair game.
Do you know what I mean? Fair game. Clowns and demons? No, I'm going to go somewhere else.
No way. I mean,
what's more scary to you?
To be fair, I don't find clowns scary at all. I don't understand
just a
it.
Big man, just buff man.
No, I think, to be fair though, I say that if my door opened right now, right, and just like a head popped around the corner of like a guy wearing makeup, I'd be like, what are you doing? Can you get out of my room? Sort of
that guy, like in the kind of like white clowny sort of like stuff.
Yeah, the very traditional white clown, like red pointed, like triangle eyes, the red hair. I'd be a bit concerned, genuinely. Also, I'd be more scared the fact that someone who I don't know is in my house. But I'd be quite concerned.
Yeah, you'd be like, how do you get in here?
But if like my door opened and no one came in, and then it closed on its own accord, and then things started opening in my room, or I wake up in the middle of the night and there's someone at the end of my bed, then I'd probably shit a brick. I won't lie.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
As sturdy as my exterior can be in terms of like holding back my emotion, if I ever woke up, as we've spoken about this with sleepwalking, if I ever woke up and someone was over me who I didn't know, I'd fucking shit myself. I would run a mile out of the house, burn it down. Like my reaction, how some people react to spiders, big spiders being in the house and burning their house down. That would be my reaction if someone was leaning over me while I was sleeping.
But
no, thank
there's
you.
also
I'm out.
another. Sorry, I cut you off entirely.
No, go ahead.
There's also another dimension, though, because you're talking about it's nighttime. You've just woken up, so you have no situational contextual context. It's been a long day, right?
Yeah, that one.
There's no situational
that makes
context.
sense.
Yeah, that's the one. Sensuational kintex.
Oh, Joel, come on, mate. Pull it together. Are you being possessed? Stop thinking about clowns. Right?
Sorry, there's a demon at the door. I'm trying to hold him out. Go away. Anyway, where was I? You don't know the situation, do you? You've just woken up. You're a little bit dazed, and anything could have happened while you were in that sleep state. So It's dark. It's a new environment. Well, it's a new situation at least. And then all of a sudden, there's this big thing looking over you. What I find really interesting is anything that you find scary in your mind. And this is a good exercise to do if you do find things scary. Take that scariness and pop it into broad daylight in a populated area. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think of a demon that's like crouching at the top corner of your room, you just see a pair of eyes. In the night, you would absolutely brick yourself.
Yes.
You know? But
100%.
imagine in the daytime, it's just this demon crouched on a bench, everyone walking around, you're like, are you okay?
Yeah, right, mate.
Do you need help? Do you need 50 people?
You got a fucking ciggy. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I met one the other day, yeah. But this is it. It's like, you know, it changes the context entirely. And if you imagine that, then it's like, it's not that scary.
It is really funny that, like, as humans, our instinct for if we wake up and we find something scary, or if like we're in darkness, is to search for a light source.
Yeah.
Because the moment there is light is like the moment we are safe, which is really crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Because imagine if it was just a really powerful demon, right, in the corner of your room, and you turn the light on. What the fuck's he gonna do? Just turn around and go, "Oh fuck, light, shit, no!"
Oh no!
And then leave.
I'm scared.
Nah, he's gonna kill you. You know, like a light's gonna do anything to an all-powerful demon, and then you pull up your blankets, thinking that's gonna save you, because that was the methodology as a kid of like, if I'm under my quilt, nah, you're fucked. Right? Simple as.
That's the end of.
But that's the end of your, like, guy comes around with a knife, tries to stab you. The moment you pull up that quilt cover, impenetrable force, Captain America's shield.
No
done.
Problem. Yeah.
Right.
He
Get
just gives
lost,
up
loser.
and walks away. He actually sits down and starts crying because he's got no more motivation.
He's useless. That's it. Demon over. Right?
But it is true. You know, this is why I find. So, have you ever seen the film Insidious?
Yes, the first one. Or the second one.
First or the second, to be fair.
Yeah, seen both.
But that's why I find those things so creepy. Like, there's a scene, I think it's in the second one, in fact, where she's playing hide and seek with her daughter, right? And she's in a room, and she's like, "I'm coming to get you." And she hears some rustling in the cabinet, and there are these two arms that come out the cabinet, like all the clothes in the wardrobe. And she's like, she obviously has some kind of thing where her daughter claps. So she's like, "Oh, do the two claps." So does the two claps, and it's definitely coming from in there. So she goes in there, and she's still got the blindfold on, and she puts her hands into the clothes. And as she does, right? As she does, her daughter runs up to the door behind her, like the other door, and she's like, "You didn't find me." And it's like, oh my gosh. And that's in broad daylight. And I love that because it's so scary because it is in broad daylight.
But it's like, okay, but you take that same film, Insidious 1, right? When they're eating at a dinner table, and then behind him is that fucking, like, Darth Maul looking ass. Yeah. As he kind of, like, creeps around his head, and you're like, are you good? Because I know people that get terrified of that scene, and I'm like, dude, come on, Darth Maul's fell off. Star Wars didn't work out for him. Now he's just haunting people.
Man cut in half, you know.
Yeah, come on. He's getting on a bit. His hair's gone. Kind of wacky. You know?
Yeah, it is funny because when you isolate them, again, there's nothing. It's just like, whatever.
No. But I mean, it is as we've come kind of like full circle. It's the unknown part because our brains are fucking horrible things. Let's be honest, right? There's an experiment, and I don't recommend anyone does it. But like, if you stare in the mirror for 10 minutes, right? You can stare in the mirror for anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes in a lowly lit room. If you stare at yourself or at any given point on the mirror, after 10 minutes, your brain will start hallucinating just to keep it entertained. And I shit you not, this works. It's literally, it's annoying how horrible our brain is to ourselves, because as our brain will get bored, and it doesn't have to be a mirror, but it just works in a mirror because you can see the hallucinations behind you, and like your face will start to morph in different ways. It's terrifying, but you can also do it in a lowly lit room, just looking out into the distance. Because your brain gets bored, it will hallucinate horrible things.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I've got the attention span to stare at myself in the mirror for more than 30 seconds.
Neither do I. But it works, and it's horrible. But it just shows how what our brain can come up with is a lot more scary than like what actually exists. I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's always that thing of like, you know, the windows and the open closets when you go to sleep. Like if you got your curtains open, you wake up and there's just a dark figure outside of your window. Or your closet's like only slightly ajar open and you can just see an eye in there as you're sleeping. No thank you, no sorry, I'm gone. You know, all of that. I still do the almost like a religious routine of making sure everything's fucking closed in my house.
Yeah.
And when I'm by myself, bear in mind, I hold my hand up. I'm not afraid to. I'm 23 years old, and I will still do these routine checks just to double check everything. Of when I'm in my house by myself, I will go round and shut all the doors, because if any door opens when I wake up that next day, I know someone's fucking in it. And I'm not having it.
And that's when you grab your double barrel shotgun from under your pillow and you go downstairs.
And I go down. Who in here?
No, it's true. I do very much the same. If I'm in the apartment on my own, I will, and I'm on my computer because I have my back turned to the door, I will close the door. Again, it's just like, and I make sure I never have my headphones on so that, you know, if anything happens contextually, I'm ready to hear it and I'm ready to react. But it's so true, because when I was a kid and I'd see something scary, I used to do like the ripping off of the Band-Aid method. Like, let's say I'd see a shape inside my wardrobe that was slightly ajar.
Yes.
So what I'd do is,
you kind of just go up to it.
Yeah, turn on my light.
You talk yourself up. You're like, I can do it. I can do it. Yeah.
I turn on my light, creep up to the doors, and just bang, open. Yeah. And inside, and then the monster's like, sorry. You know, no. You know?
Big boy Sully's just like, oh, wrong door. Okay.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Yeah, and there'd be nothing there. And then you turn around and it's in your bed.
Yeah. It's like, come back to bed, sweetie. Imagine that, like a really sexual ghost or a really sexual demon. Oof. Oof. I pray for the day. If any spirits are listening, I'm really lonely.
No, don't, because what you'll get is...
Any succubi, you know, any succubuses, hit me up. Holler at me.
No, because all you're going to get is, like, it's going to be like an orc in a bikini.
Oh, hell yeah. How did you know my kink? What? God, stop it.
We learn more about each other and we grow further apart every day.
Every day.
But yeah, so I to be fair, I'd say that I'm not scared of one more than the other. I think I'd happily... I'd kind of happily be scared of clowns as much as I am of demons. But at the same time, I think if I was actually faced with one, I'd kind of be like, okay, are we doing this? Come at me, bro.
Would you, though?
To be fair, mate, if I turn around in my small little flat and there's a big clown in my way, I'm like, well, there's only one way out, and that's through you, so...
Yeah, but then you're dead.
Are you, though? Are you?
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Maybe. I think it's the ones at distance. Those, I agree with you. I don't think I would preference having a clown or a demon over each other. I think they're both as awful as each other. In broad daylight, waste men. Don't want anything to do with them. But in the night, nah, not dealing with them.
Big boys.
But big boys. Night big boys, daytime waste men. Simple as that. Whatever is in your mind in that point at distance, like the window situation, the ones that are kind of like keeping away from you but watching, nah, those are the worst. Those are definitely the worst.
So to all of the demon and clown listeners out there, if you can sort of just keep away.
Keep your distance.
Keep your
Social
distance,
distancing, please. COVID is still a thing.
Stop watching me.
Keep watching me.
So I want to talk about cats and dogs with you.
Go ahead. Yeah. What about them? What's so good about them?
What's so good about them? Well, I know for a fact that we are different in the way we are. We're quite different. I would say that you're more one of them while I'm more the other one.
Mm.
But we need to settle it once and for all. We need to analyze which is better.
Okay. I'm down for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start. Well, yeah, so basically, dogs are obviously better.
Okay. Why?
Very simply.
You've instantly offended like millions of people.
I don't care.
Fucking hell, you're hard. Holy shit.
I'm tough, mate.
Sorry,
really
Dad.
tough. I cry after the podcast.
Wow.
Dogs are obviously better because they're so affectionate. They are lovable, and it's to the point where, unless you've got like a really small dog, they're not going to bite your arms off if you pet them too much. They just sort of get up and leave. While with a cat, they're very happy to stay where they are. They'll invite you in, they'll invite you to stroke them, and then you'll scratch them, and then they will scratch you, but a lot harder.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you say that they're affectionate. Cats, you don't get a dog kind of like coming down to lie with you and then purring as you scrunch their little heads, do you? No. What you get is like a slobbery lick across your face. And cats don't wake you up either, right? Dogs do. Dogs will run into your room, literally stare over you, dribbling into your mouth, whilst you're asleep. And if that doesn't work, then they lick you awake.
I've had both animals in my life.
So have I. Yeah.
And when I had a cat, she did wake me up by walking on my bed, because they are deceivingly heavy. Now, a cat's not very heavy, but when all of their weight or as they're walking, their weight's going through each paw, and when that paw is resting on your bollocks, they really do wake up.
Yeah.
I definitely, certainly found that.
So are you telling me that you've never been trod, your bollocks have never been trod on by a dog? Because that's 10 times more painful, because they're so, don't get me wrong, I adore dogs, okay? This is such a difficult topic because I love both of them. But I will say, for example, my sister's dog, who is a border collie and is literally like a whippet almost, that doesn't have any brakes, doesn't know where her feet are going half the time. When she puts her foot on your balls, that's it. You're probably risking not having kids for the rest of your life. That's it.
Gosh, you must have been laying down in front of her.
I was. Full mast spread. No, not full mast. That's really wrong. No, that's wait. Roll it back. I meant... I think I meant like spread eagle, just like the legs out, not full mast. Anyway,
oh, man.
That's not what I meant.
Fucking fantastic.
Oh, bollocks. Anyway, that's not what I meant. I meant as in... I meant they were just in the wrong place, right? I was laying there just browsing through my phone, and as she came tumbling in, like the wrecking ball that she is, she just stepped on my balls, and that was it. I probably can't have kids. Not that I want them, but
End of. Yeah.
I probably can't have kids now because she's squashed one of my 3 balls.
So basically, I mean, again, I love both.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say.
Like,
I mean, I enjoy cats. They're fun. They're cute. But for me, I'm a dog guy. I'm a dog chap.
yeah.
And I think we can definitely agree that on the scale of stepping on your bollocks, dogs definitely hurt more but
Yeah.
cats have claws. And
So do dogs.
they do, but one's like a blunt force trauma, while the other one's like a scythe. It's like an assassin.
Yeah.
You know? One of them is I might not be able to have kids, and the other one is this is the end.
The end. It's a bit melodramatic.
You know what I mean? It can lop your knob off with that sort of thing.
I will attest, to be fair, the amount of scratches I've had from cats that are so much more painful than just like a paw in the balls from a dog. It is,
Right.
because it's almost like it's just like a paper cut, but worse. And you can't get much worse than a paper cut, and somehow cats have managed that technology. I don't know.
Technology.
I don't know how. I don't know what like buff God gave to them halfway through their life of like giving them a scythe. Well, 4 of them at that.
They get to
On
roll
each ball.
double damage on every
They
single
do.
attack.
It's
They
literally
roll
a
double
crit
damage.
every single time. But there is one thing. So going back to my my sister's dog, she is incredibly affectionate, but a bit too much so in the sense of how big she is. So she's a border collie. You know, if anyone knows what a border collie is, they're quite big dogs. They're not huge. They're not like huskies or malamutes, but
It's
they're
a
like,
nice medium size. Isn't
yeah, it's a medium, but they're heavy. If you try and pick up a border collie, they probably weigh a decent amount, right? And they're strong.
It's like, I can see us building a top trumps card out of this. Border collie,
Oh my
size,
God.
medium,
Size medium,
Weight.
strength high,
weight, dense.
weight dense, affection high.
Yeah.
You know, ball stepping capability moderate. You know,
Disease spreadability, high.
low. No.
No, I'm
Come
just because they lick their balls, they lick their anus, they lick the poo outside, then they lick your face.
Yeah, but it's clean.
It's
Anyway.
clean poo.
Anyway, so she'll come and lie down with me, but she'll like push her face literally into my neck or my face and try and like hug me like a human would, right? And it's adorable. It's really nice. However, there's a point where if you don't show her attention, she will literally get her paw and slap you in the face, like full on, lift it up, wham, into your nose, probably broken bones, potentially. And then you look at her, and she just gives you that deadpan look of like, and attention now, or you get another one.
You see, this is different though, because my family's husky. She is getting a little bit more like that, but she's kind of the dog that will just sit there on her own, and she sometimes does want strokes, but she'll never paw you for strokes, right? She'll come near you, and then she'll go away again. She's never actually sort of making you stroke her. But she's also a very independent dog. She's the kind of dog that I would imagine would go out, you know, get on the town in her heels, chilling out by herself, and she knows karate.
Pick up at
She's-
least
she's-
5 guys.
Good burgers.
Good
She's
burgers,
a badass.
yeah.
She's not
She
so
is.
badass. But
Yeah.
every dog is different. And if you have the kind of dog that is willing to paw your face off for attention, I kind of love those because they're so cute. And you just
They
have to keep stroking them. And they're so happy with the fact that you are giving them affection.
They are, and like I said, she's adorable. She is, but like when that's about like 5 kilograms of paw on your face with force, it's not that. Especially when it's like 3 a.m. and you're trying to fucking sleep. So, and the opposite of that is my dog, who's a toy poodle, tiny, however, cannot sit still for the fucking life of her. So I'm trying to sleep this morning. There's a great example. My parents go out. She's clawing the door. Now, she's tiny, but she's got enough power, if she probably tried, to kick down my door, right? with how much she pushes on it. So I open the door. She comes and lies down. So I'm awake at this point. God knows what time it is in the morning. Right? I go and lie down. The dog lies next to me for about 2 seconds. Hears a noise that isn't on the mortal plane of existence. It's probably in the ether somewhere and has heard it, right? And then she runs off and leaves. And I don't see her again for maybe an hour by the time I've fallen back to sleep. And guess who shows up after that hour to wake me up? My fucking dog. coming back down.
She's training you. It's a bit like the Navy SEALs training. She's just keeping you awake, alert.
I'm not a fan. If that was a cat, it would literally be a case of, all right, lie down. Maybe like the little circle maneuver, the claw, that kind of thing, the circle. And then they'd lie down and they wouldn't shift for 5 hours. Even if you moved.
Well, I was going to say, if anything, you're the problem because you're like, I've been here for 12 hours. I need to leave. And they're like, don't you dare move. I will literally, I'll cut your balls off, right, with these claws. They're sharp.
And they will give you the cat side eye of like the ear moves first and then that one eye opens. But you know how like they've got the eyelid as well? So it's that slow eyelid open and it's only one and it just stares at you. Of like, if you move, you die.
Yeah, so dogs will give you the affection by high velocity paws at your face, right? While cats just give it to you through the eyes. It's a threat.
It's a threat. But it's love.
But it's
just
love.
Just like just like the love that cats give to you when they drop a dead bird at your feet. That's adorable, don't you think?
Oh my gosh.
Death,
wouldn't I?
carnage, carnivorous beings, right?
Or even
That's
better,
their sign of love.
You come back to find the carcass of said bird, and its entrails are the only thing that's been left strewn across the floor.
Yeah.
And you're like, thank you. And they're like, see, I taught you how to hunt because you're really shit at it.
You're useless.
You're like, you don't hunt? My food comes out of a bag.
The
What do you
thing
think I am?
is, that is literally the sign of two things, though. It's the sign of acceptance for a cat that they finally accepted you, but it is also the sign of you're not as good as I am. That's as simple as that. That is the mantra that cats live by. Is like, yes, I live under your roof, but I'm in charge. You do realise that. It's like they'll give you the side eye. They'll rear their ass up to you. There's one thing that dogs don't do as much as cats, and I do appreciate it from dogs. Is you'll be watching TV, just casually, and then a cat will just walk in front of you, so blocking your view of the TV. But it won't be like a cute little dog where you can see their face and they're like, "Oh, stroke me." No. The cat puts its ass towards you, lifts said tail, so all you can see is a cat's ass, and they won't move. And then they will begin to claw your knee especially when you're wearing shorts as well. If you're wearing shorts,
Oh, yeah.
ooh, and they're thinking, oh, this is a nice blanket for me to sink my daggers into. No.
My little killing machines.
What I was going to talk about was looking after them, right?
Oh.
And a more tame principle, right? Because cats are the easiest pet to look after. You know why? Because you don't have to look after them. They will look after themselves to a like a pretty good standard. Yes, they come back for food and they come back for water and maybe some shelter. But if they're outdoor cats, which like most cats are, unless they're house cats, and even house cats are easy, they will either sleep or like go to the next door neighbor and shag the male cat. Right? That's their life. Yeah, sure, you may end up with like a bunch of mewing babies, but at least she's having the time of her life.
That did happen to my girlfriend's cat. In fact, she's predominantly a house cat, but she was a stray. And there was a time when she got out of the house quite early on in their, so I don't want to say ownership because it sounds too, it sounds like they treat them as a slave. But
Sorry, bees aren't slaves, cats aren't slaves. Okay, John, I want to just make that prevalent.
Sorry, yeah. Let me put it a different way. Early on in the cat's sentence of being bound in the house, she got out. She escaped. She had a spoon. She had a boat. She sailed off Alcatraz. And when she came back, many kittens were on the way. And then she had about 3 or 4 kittens.
You know what's quite funny? It's always, I was going to say, no, never mind. Ignore it. I was going to say it's always black and white cats, but like, I think your partner's cat's just black, isn't it?
Yeah, she's a right little witch. She's just pure. Yeah. She's like a bit of obsidian.
Because my sister also had a black and white cat, and she would just disappear for probably days, maybe weeks at times. And there would be one point where she came back and she would come into my... Because I already had a cat. I had a tabby cat. Love of my life, besides my dogs. Absolutely gorgeous. There will be a story to this cat as well that's quite funny and quite gross at the same time. My sister had a black and white cat. And one morning, I can hear from my cupboard, like my dressing cupboard, like some mewing, right? And in the bottom drawer was her with a bunch of kittens in like what was a makeshift bed that she'd made herself out of a used blanket.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, where the fuck? I haven't seen you in weeks. And she comes back and she's got like a whole entourage of kittens. And they were adorable. But with dogs, I don't think you'd necessarily get that, to be fair.
No,
you don't end up with a family.
You've got to be pretty hands-off at the dog park for your dog to come back with pups, right? I feel like you've got to let it happen, haven't you? Be like, yup, and they're shagging.
Yeah, well.
And we're just going to let it happen.
At least she's having a good time. You know what I mean? Wait.
Yeah, I don't know. We think our dog was potentially used for breeding beforehand, but we have no idea. She's not a fan of other dogs sniffing her butt. I
mean, I wouldn't be either, to be fair. So I don't blame her.
Yeah, you're not a fan of butt sniffing either, to be fair.
Not about, no. But there is, so my other cat, my tabby cat, now this might gross you out, and it did gross me out at the time, but like I've kind of come to terms with it. So she was a bit of a special cat. Not for my own doing, from my sister's doing, and I'm going to out my sister right now. So, unlucky. But my sister wasn't exactly the brightest child when it comes to animals.
Oh no.
And this is a story told in my family, so get fucked, Emily.
I'm about to witness something I don't want to see. Oh dear.
So she was told in science class, obviously with evolution, that cats always landed on their feet.
Oh dear.
Now, bear in mind, my sister had a cat, but she decided to use mine and dropped her out of a 2-story fucking window.
No.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So she went up to her room, which was upstairs, and just dropped her into the outside garden. My mum references this to her washing the dishes in the kitchen and having a window that looked outside the garden and just seeing a shadow come down and just go kapunk onto the concrete. Yeah. And it's funny now, but bless her, she lived to a ripe old age of fucking like 19. So she had a great life. I will say that. She didn't traumatize her too bad. She never had any like illnesses or anything. She lived a fantastic life as a cat.
Good.
But one thing that she did end up developing from this was that she ended up having a dribble. So her tongue would stick out, and whenever you'd pet her and she'd give a fuss, she'd end up dribbling because she couldn't control her saliva glands anymore.
Yeah.
However, this one time, oh, it's so gross. So when I was younger, she would come and sleep in my bed, right? Obviously being my cat. So she would stand over me while I was sleeping at some points because she'd sleep near my neck or on my torso, right? Adorable. However, one morning, I'm lying there and I wake up and she's like leaning over me, like looking down at me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, good morning. So I start stroking her, right? Not even thinking. And then all of a sudden, this saliva just starts forming at the end of her tongue as I'm stroking her. My mouth's open, and the drool just goes straight in my mouth. And immediately, I'm just like, pick her up, put her down, straight over to the bathroom, brush my teeth. It was gross. It was absolutely grim.
That makes me, and I've seen some things in my time. That make oh my gosh.
So I'm simultaneously in this fantastic episode of 20 outing my sister for being a whatever idiot that move was, and me getting dribbled in my mouth by my
Do you know in ancient Wales, she might have been considered a hero because apparently there's a bit of a tale. Do you know the Mount Snowdon in North Wales?
Yeah.
according to kind of some folklore, the king actually said at one point, if you can get pigs or sheep to fly off the top of Snowdon, you will be, you'll receive a prize, or there was some kind of prize for it. So apparently, farmers actually used to take their sheep up to the top of Snowdon and yeet them off the top to see if they would fly. So maybe she was just channeling some of that energy,
Joel, I don't know if we even kept it in, but like you've literally said this in the previous episode, the exact thing, word for word.
I don't think you're wrong.
I'm not.
Was it more than 8 days ago?
Yeah.
Fuck.
We've got to. So stepping aside from the conversation, poor Joel's dementia is getting really bad, guys. So if you can donate at least about 50 pence to save Joel's mental capability,
oh no, there's no saving it. It's gone.
Oh,
it's not there anymore. It's just bye.
But yeah, you might be right. Maybe she's channeling that whatever that is, whatever that amazing flying sheep tail is, and giving me this energy through her drool.
Yes, nice bit of drool in the mouth. What did it taste like?
It was quite. Thinking back, it was kind of just like weird. I think it was more gross than it actually was. Thinking about it, it was a little bit salty, but that's about it. It would just be like spit, I guess. That's probably like the most disgusting part about cats is like the ass showing and the drooling maybe. But with dogs, you are being licked to high heaven with their entire tongue.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. I think no. Cats, lovely, very self-sufficient, great, leave them to it, they can crack onto their thing. Dogs, they need a little bit more love and attention, but if you enjoy being that caregiver, fantastic. Dogs, they will take it all day.
And I will say that I would, if given the choice, as much as I do love cats and I adore them, I would still rather have a dog than a cat as a pet, if I could only choose one. So I am still on the side of dogs. Although be it my personality might be more reflective of a cat, I prefer dogs for having them as a pet. But if I'm probably just going to have both in the future, truth be told. I'll just have all of them, every single pet.
You just have an animal farm, There'll be flying sheep and pigs. There'll be drooling cats and ass-licking dogs.
Yeah, all of the good qualities. Let's go. Give them all to me.